All right, good morning. It's Friday morning, the 13th. That's when we're filming it anyway, so I hope it doesn't break or any movies originate out of this. I don't know what the deal is with Friday the 13th, but so far this week has gone pretty good. That's the sort of the worst thing I could have said, I guess. I'm jinxing it. But we've had a good week of court. We did not have court on Tuesday this week because judges are state employees, whereas most of the prosecutors are county employees. And Tuesday was a state holiday, so even if the judge wanted to work, then the court reporter couldn't have worked, and it's really hard to arrange when we have state holidays in the middle of the week. So we lost Tuesday, but we started the trial with motions on Monday. Again, we were off Tuesday, and on Wednesday the trial really started in its entirety. State put up testimony Wednesday and Thursday. We rested yesterday, and the defense is going to put up a few witnesses, or at least one witness today. Then it'll be closing arguments, and we should have some sort of a verdict before the weekend. So I may have to update you on what took place with Demetrius McCleary next time we get together. McCleary is charged with, and the case that we're going against him this week is an assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature that carries up to 20 years. Burglary first carries from 15 years to life imprisonment. Kidnapping and an assault with intent to rape, or attempted CSC. Basically, the allegations are that McCleary went into a hotel room on a Hispanic worker who was cleaning up the room and beat her up real bad in an attempt to rape her. So she's testified. Her boyfriend has testified. In this case, we had to bring in an interpreter because she couldn't speak English very well. And a really interesting case. It is from 2018, so it's been on the trial roster quite a few times, and it finally caught today. Hopefully we will get a good result, and I'll be able to report that next week. Along in another courtroom, that was Judge DeBerry hearing that case. In another courtroom, we've got Judge Ben Culbertson from Georgetown, and he has been hearing pleas Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and today he's doing motions. There have been some significant pleas going on in that courtroom, but instead of talking about those, we had a really big plea to come down this week, and I always talk in terms of having one plea court and one trial court. And what makes Horry and Georgetown very special in the way we do it is about 5 or 6 years ago, I sat down and met with then U.S. Attorney Sherry Lydon. Now she's a federal judge, but Sherry Lydon, when she was the U.S. Attorney for South Carolina, she came and met with me and Sheriff Thompson, and really extended some help. We at the Solicitor's Office took her up on it. Our part of the deal, they've got plenty of resources. They've got federal courthouse, they got federal prisons, and they've got, FBI, DEA, all of those people that can come in and help. But what they really don't have is a lot of manpower. So I sent, at the time, 2 of our best prosecutors to be dual prosecutors, a state prosecutor and a special U.S. attorney, which is known as a SASA. And those guys can go in state and federal court. And the way it works out is a lot of these cases originate in state court. We go and talk to the defendant, see if we can work something out, or if it would be better worked out in federal court. And the case that we had here today is Johnny Ricardo Thomas. Johnny Ricardo Thomas is charged, would have been in state court under human trafficking. Um, the terms are a little bit different in federal court, but basically what he's accused of and what he pled guilty to was getting a person from North Carolina to come into South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and he engaged her in prostitution. So we charged him under a federal statute and took him to federal court, and he pled this week. Johnny Ricardo Thomas, aka Rico, got over 20 years in federal prison, and that is day for day. We've talked before about some of the state sentencing, but 20 years is a long time, and it's 2022, so Johnny Thomas will be out in 2042, somewhere about that in federal time. What's so important about that, and what we generally use are state prosecutors to prosecute federal cases with, is we've been really good about doing gang cases, and we've been really good about human trafficking cases. So most everywhere else in the state, when it comes to human trafficking, we'll try to go under a state statute or try to correlate it into one of the older statutes like prostitution or facilitating prostitution, and the penalties are so low. It's like 30 days. It's the same for being a John or a pimp as it would to be the prostitute. So it's very low standards. When we go through federal court, the same actions could get you 20 years, and Thomas got over 20 years on that. One reason that we do that in gang cases and human trafficking cases is our state judges have been beat over the head for years, and prosecutors, honestly, that all we want to talk about is this snapshot in time, what took place from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and all of the other evidence they've been taught to be, that is what we call lyle evidence or prior bad acts or stuff like that. We know, prosecutors know, it's not. It's what we call it is res gestae. We're trying to say that I've got to be able to tell the story. But when you're confined to such a small box, it's very hard to make this human trafficking as opposed to prostitution. So what we were able to tell in federal court in a human trafficking case is that it originates out of Chicago, it moves down to Springfield, it goes to Charlotte, to Pinehurst, to Wilmington, to Myrtle Beach. In 2 weeks, this prostitution chain is down in Savannah and over to Baton Rouge. And it comes and goes so quickly that if you just had to look at that time frame of one hotel room in Myrtle Beach, it's very hard for a jury to pick up without all of the background that this is trafficking. This didn't just occur one time. So that's why we do those cases in federal court. We also do the gang cases in federal court because state court is really not good when you're trying to prosecute more than one person for a series of crimes. Our state law is really conflicted in that area. And this is a workaround that we have come up with. So generally speaking, when we send a case to federal court, we do prosecute that case in federal court. 2 of our prosecutors, now 3 of our prosecutors, are prosecuting those cases in federal court. And we've been getting some good sentences, as you see with Johnny Thomas. So that's kind of the update for this week. Gives you a little bit of insight in some other areas that we have been very much working on. Hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll get together and I'll be able to give you an update on McCleary next week.